Good morning. Back again. Alright, so now we are doing this whole thing. Generally speaking, normally I would say, the archers can go, but, actually, no. We're, gonna get more frontliners, get a healer. It's one of those. Yojin hasn't seen the fight in a while. Actually, you know what? No, I think we're gonna let Sarah catch up in points and get Felicia in here. Sounds like a plan. And I forgot to give Warren his stuff again. Crap. Well, whatever, we'll deal. Yeah, that's possible. So, this fight in particular is kind of the one that stuck out to me the first time going through this mod. Like, I was going through it in two different versions, essentially the one that ended up being, the second half of the run, and then also the run itself. And this is kind of the first one where, with the rain and everything else going on, there was just such a huge struggle to get past these tiles right here. It's so cool. But anyway, we'll see how all that goes. It's just, you really notice when characters have less skills with this mod. There's far less of, I'm just gonna pop True Strike on there and then they'll never miss. Which sounds like an exaggeration, but it is exactly true. You've got 2 jump, right? You're agile? Yeah. And by exactly true, I do mean exactly true. Because it's funny, because a couple times people have mentioned, like, over-exaggerating the weird balance of the original and whatever. But, again, going through both of them side by side to juxtapose this stuff as much as possible. And Basic Soldier Guy with an axe and True Strike was still getting, like, 89% hit chances from the front. So, yeah, it's this exact spot. There were other times, sure, his accuracy was worse, but in general, True Strike just basically negated all weather effects and whatever else. Which, to some extent, I can kind of see that, but at the same time, it's janky, like, if somebody's improving themselves over time, and, if the levels aren't going to matter much, and then you're in a situation where they're improving their levels over time and everything, it's cool, it feels very satisfying when they finally get to that level where they can finally just consistently hit stuff. Which, even late game, they still don't... Oops. Okay, I was absolutely certain I was gonna just go ahead and hit the guy, but apparently not. So, I guess it's time to get some healing going. Sorry, Lizard Man. Who, by the way, Brakes had mentioned that this guy is a rogue template, so I might as well show that off too. Basically, if you look at his stats here, he's going much higher on the... okay, so a lot of his boosted stats or whatever are from the class, so his, strength and general attack abilities are going to be higher, but it basically broke down into 3 categories, like he was saying, in which you basically had warrior classes, rogue classes, and mage classes, as well as just kind of standard all-rounders. I believe the standard all-rounders were still around, because yeah, you had like the generic ones that were... They might go up or down. They had essentially just a relative flush of stats. The warrior ones were, better at all their physical stuff. I think he said it was a strength, vit, and dex. The rogue ones were dex, agility, and avoidance, I think, and then int, mind, resistance for mages, I think. Actually, you know what? While we're doing other stuff, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up in the background, just to make sure I'm not misquoting him here, which I more than likely am, let's be honest. But, alright, you can just stay here, I think. Hi there, Discord. Okay. So, the exact quote was, alright, a generic male, default, human male in default template has 30 in all stats, 68 HP, 24 MP, and 50 recovery time. Denim has 30 in all stats, 80 HP, 20 MP, 46 RT, plus tarot bonuses. those are your starting setup. So he basically starts off with the same relative combat abilities, but he's a bit more durable and very slightly faster. For a relative idea of how much faster, it's basically the same as like if you had leggings or gloves for free. A generic female has 60 health, 28 strength and vit, but 36 MP and 32 dex, agility and avoidance. Int, mind, and resistance are the same because we're pro quality in all forms, but the most blatantly obvious ones. And the templates are warrior, plus 8 HP, negative 8 MP, plus 4 strength, plus 4 vit, negative 4 int, negative 4 mind, negative 2 resistance. Rogues are negative 8 MP, plus 4 dex, agility, and avoidance. Okay, so partially right. Negative 4 int, negative 4 mind, negative 2 resistance, and then mages are negative 8 HP, plus 8 MP, negative 2 strength, vit, and dex, and and agility, plus 4 int, plus 4 mind, plus 2 res. So they do get some minuses to go along with that. So it's nice, you know, get some pluses, some minuses. So by and large, the lizard that I hired is a little bit trash at what he does right now, but it's fine. Basically, I'm just keeping him around until I can turn him into a hoplite or something like that. Let's hop you over here. Actually, no, let's go for a double frontal stab. Denim is reasonably durable, so I'm probably gonna have him doing the whole pikeman thing for the time being, anyway. Let's have Sarah go over here. Probably should have gone for the more guaranteed hits, but I'm kind of expecting my melee guys to be able to overwhelm these chuckles pretty quick. Basically got a, okay, that's fine. Fair enough. Yeah, you can actually use monks for closing up some gaps now, which is pretty nice, I gotta say. Feels pretty nice. Actually, you know, it's kind of funny. I've been going for a pretty wide swath of different games and whatnot lately. It's kind of hard to explain where the logic of a lot of those comes from. Man, this is the spot right here, you know? This is the spot. Everything is just getting all difficult to hit. Alright, so this guy's gonna plug this gap. Hopefully get a hit in. That's fine. Hopefully, as long as we get the other gap plugged, at least we can... Nah, that knight is still gonna have free reign here, so... Alright, new plan. Take out this lady. Keep that berserker over there just fighting the monk. That's just fine. There's not a whole lot he can do from there. Yeah, just take out this one, then probably focus on taking out the knight. Even though more than likely it's gonna end up being a fight against the fencer. Whatever. One at a time. Eliminate and move on. Man. Friggin' matrix skills from this lady over here. This is what's so awesome about these early rain maps, though. These games, they're annoying. Here, they're just amazing, because nobody can hit anything, so you're kind of looking for those backstabs. It's fun. I really like it. But okay. So, like I was saying, been going for a pretty wide swath of games lately for some reason. And, it's been strange. There was one that was recommended, very highly recommended, and they're kind of mixed on it, because I seriously wonder what they were thinking development-wise, which was Suikoden 2, or Suikoden, or, you know, that one. I played the original several years ago, and basically I don't really remember what happened there, but then somebody said the second one was basically, well, the thing they wanted to make, more or less, so it was like, it was fine on its own. So I saw it for sale. They had it on pretty severe discounts. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever, I'll give it a go. And that would happen. Yeah, I don't... that is the strangest tone I've ever seen for anything, really. By and large, it's just like, all your characters are always smiley and everything else, and all cutesy and happy and everything, and there's downright friggin' war crimes going on around him. Right now I'm maybe a couple hours into the thing. Like, there was the first portrait change to, like, a little girl who was all happy and smiley and everything else. And then, well, kinda, their parents got murdered in front of them, they got brought to another place, they made friends with somebody who then also got friggin' bisected right in front of her. So there's that. Turns out that might be a little bit traumatic. But at any rate, that was the only sprite change, or the only, like, portrait change so far. Because they got all depressed and everything. All the other ones are all super happy, smiley, everything else. They're like walking through towns, 5 seconds later those towns burn down. You know, the main, like, bad guy of the thing is just some friggin' lunatic that's going around just killing everything just kinda cuz. That's literally his reason. They're like, if you can survive it, then you deserve to live, kind of a logic. It's weird. Because the art style is so cutesy and happy and everything else. Oh man. Like, actually one scene in it was a little bit, I'm a little bit surprised they got it past the censors early on, but they're going and trying to get past, like, a checkpoint kind of thing. And literally, there's a gypsy in the group, and they pull aside the head of the guard there. And it is heavily implied that they basically just, either get down to the business, or, you know, she decided to go do a little bit of a visit to Australia on the guy, because, yeah, they're completely against it. Those two wander off. I'm like, oh no, you didn't do the thing. It's like, no, it was just an adult conversation. Like, you just blew that guy so everybody can get by, huh? And they don't stick around very long either. Like, they pretty much bail maybe 10 minutes after that. So it's weird. Like, apparently the entire thing, what actually sold me on it, the only reason that I even would go and spend any money on anything right now, even on sale, was they were saying, like, this entire thing was this whole story of everybody making the worst of bad situations, and you've got, like, a mini strategy game in there, mixed into an RPG, mixed into a sort of asset management kind of thing. Man, there's so much stuff going on here, and it sounds amazing. And I look at the reviews, and they're like, universally, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah, immediately confused by the art style. Immediately confused by the characters, too. Gotta say, they really heavily want you to like one of the characters that follows you around like a lost puppy. Because the Joey guy is supposed to be the main character's best friend or whatever. Dude, that guy is annoying. Like, really annoying. Like, to the point where, like, early on, right at the very start, you basically get backstabbed and wind up getting captured by what is more or less a bunch of people being very obviously framed. And I don't know if it's because of bad translation or whatever else, but they make it very, very clear. They're like, okay, this guy turned, this guy's a psycho, and basically everybody ever knew just got pretty much burned alive. So maybe, just maybe, you're on the wrong side here. So, you know, all well and good. They go ahead and escape that situation. And at that point, there were a whole bunch of different options and whatever else, so I don't know exactly if it was just like that specific route that happened, or if there was actually, you know, different options to go about it. But basically I went for the one that was saying, like, okay, just abandon this guy, whatever, go it solo. You know, just everybody go do their thing. Like, the options were, oh, let's be all buddy-buddy and agree to meet back in the middle of this war zone in order to meet up again later, and whereas one of the other options was, no. Everybody runs away and meets up if there's an opportunity later, because, you know, just hope for the best. It's a frickin' war. So, at any rate, it's kind of interesting, because they end up changing the scene that he goes back and, like, he cuts a thing in rock. He's like, okay, we're gonna meet back at this spot. Like, no, we're not. We're just gonna leave. Like, okay, fine. He goes back and puts an X on it. Like, that's for good luck then. Like, okay, that's a cool moment right there, you know? Bad translation, not. That's a cool moment. So they get separated, and it's interesting because right off the bat, they pretty effectively establish, you know, what's going on with these two characters, that they're supposed to be longtime friends or whatever. Because you get different, I'm assuming you get different ones throughout the entire thing, but you get, like, combinations and whatnot. Like, the two of them do basically, like, a weird, like, Broforce kind of thing and just wipe out entire groups. It's kind of overpowered compared to everything else, actually. I kind of wonder if it'll end up getting removed. But, okay, so that's all well and good. I should probably go for a guaranteed shot here just to make sure that fencer's out of the way. Oh, but there's a really good opportunity to just take this guy. You know what? I'm not terribly worried about the fencer. We're gonna take out this guy. So here should be safe from wandering enemies. There we go. Cliff shot. Nice. I love doing those. But yeah, so he ends up going wherever. Main character ends up getting captured by people that are very obviously friendly. And they heavily imply that the main character is kind of a dumb kid, so I guess it could be kind of explained away as that. But yeah, so he basically immediately, you know, like, okay, just do chores, you're fine here, just stay as long as you like. Yes, you're in a cell, but nobody knows who can trust who. So, all things considered, that's pretty reasonable, you know. So gets put to work more or less, so it starts off, you're just like doing little chores and whatever else. And there's an overall friendly tone there. Like, you know, we don't want to do this, it's not completely necessary. Also, everybody here is super nice, you know. Overall, not a bad deal, you know? Not a bad deal. So, anyway, you know, I kept trying to go for the dialogue options of, okay, just side with these guys. I mean, if your own people betrayed you, like, literally tried to kill you a day or two ago, maybe, just maybe, these guys they're framing are the good guys then. So, you know, there's that. But no, they decide not to go for that at all. The other guy ends up finding him, and then they try to break him out. So I went for trying to find an option of, no, I just want to stay here, actually. I left it running for several minutes. No option for that. Didn't do anything. Like, I don't want to leave. No, you have to go. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just ditch this guy or whatever else. So try to leave, and then you get immediately, like, recaptured. And then later on, you do more stuff, and you end up collecting a bunch of random items. And he literally, your supposed best friend character there, decides to set fire to the place that you're in, and basically shimmy out a window to basically get both characters out. Okay, these guys were being friendly, they were helping out. Why'd you just set their home on fire, you know? You didn't even bother trying to talk to any of them. So yeah, at that point, you know, they leave off, they go do their thing for a while, they get back to the place that betrayed them, and shock of all shocks, they're basically just there being told, hey, you know, everyone's being told, hey, you know, these two people that you already didn't like, apparently, they're spies and traitors, and you should definitely turn them in. Like, really, what did you expect would happen? Of course that's what happened. So, absolutely no shock whatsoever, everything goes completely south. And then they end up leaving and all that sort of thing. So, I'm almost broken past their line here, I'm thinking, yeah, probably you. So, a little bit frustrating there. You know, I kept trying to go for all options of just ditch this annoying bastard. And then later on, you know, like, okay. So you go back, He's still insisting not to trust those super helpful people from earlier for no apparent reason. And yeah, you make it back. Still can't ditch the guy. Friggin' the place gets invaded. The place that they're in, you know, the place that they're in at the time basically ends up getting overrun. And so all the leadership there is saying, like, look, you know, thanks for helping out or whatever, this is not your problem. Just, here's a way out. Go ahead and leave. I'm like, okay, reasonable, you know what? That makes complete sense. Everything adds up here. Go to leave. They're like, no, 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 we gotta go back and help now. Like, no. No. They basically already established there's a crazy super army coming. It is time to frickin' bail and go literally anywhere else. Like, no. No, no, no. All these peoples we met that I was completely betraying a second ago, but now completely trust. No, you gotta go help them. So anyway, you go through saying no a couple times and you're allowed to leave. Before traveling 2 towns down, and then he's like, no, we can't though. You totally want to go back, and then there's no option to actually say no. You can keep saying no over and over, but he eventually just starts looping dialogue. You annoying bastard. I was saying to help these people, like, earlier friggin' on, and now you don't want to, or now you don't want to leave. Like, what is your problem? And then they get to a scene a little later where it's like supposed to be this whole big character establishing scene of like, oh, they care so much, here's all their childhood. And it just dragged on and on and on. I'm like, man, I like everything about this except for that character. Why are you trying to make them a big deal? And I mentioned that as annoying because that was the moment that they basically got a thing that more or less pretty much gave them plot armor. I was like, you know what? They basically just announced that this character is going to be probably around the whole time. And if I know that the point, what little I do know about the game more or less is just apparently the point is to recruit like over 100 characters. And you know, if they get to that moment where they're like, no, go save your childhood friend or whatever, no, he is getting left behind. I don't care if it's a bad ending. He is the worst. Oh man. Hopefully there's nobody that's a huge fan of that guy that's watching this. But man, like, best friend characters, it depends how they're done, I guess. But so much of the time, I just cannot like them. Probably should have gone for a guaranteed hit there, but oh well. Yeah, you got your guarantees up. Pretty much won this thing at this point. Nothing too terribly bad at this point. Oh well. Overall, though, it's still pretty darn fantastic. I just, yeah, wish that one character was not around at all, ever. Actually, what I would have preferred is if you could just permanently replace him with the dog character. You basically just get a dog with a sword. The freaking Gengen guy. He's like, yes, yes, I'm just here to fight things, more or less. I'm like, you know what? You're alright. He basically serves as your bodyguard earlier on. He's just a basic grunt after that. Like, you know what? Kind of, not terribly talkative dog with a sword there. You are alright. And yeah, they said he's a kobold or whatever, but he's a dog with a sword, you know what? Man, what was it with, early RPGs and dogs with swords? As, I recall Breath of Fire always had those too. I think more than one in some instances. Yeah, that entire series, pretty much played any of those strictly for the animations. They completely blew my mind at the time. And then Golden Sun happened, and then I completely forgot about them. And Golden Sun is so good. Alright. I don't know if this is gonna hit. Yes, it will. Okay. It's sometimes hard to tell the trajectory of things. Here. We do an innervate, because we don't want to deal with that annoyance. Actually, a little bit surprised that this party's doing so well. Truth be told, they're pretty severely suboptimal, but you know what? Everyone's still good. Everyone's still good in their own way. Alright, fast forward a little bit here, because it's only a couple people left. And then we can get on to depressing subjects. Guess what, guy? Goodbye, guy. Aw. That would have been a lot better if he actually hit. Guess what doesn't miss very often? This thing. Goodbye. By the way, I'm just collecting cards for the sake of having them for buffs. Their skills are not actually going up, so there's that. I'm just cornered on that rooftop. I'm just waiting for Sarah to get her turn. I have to have somebody hit her. Or not. Don't have the turns to do it. 129%. Yes! Okay. So, who's ready to witness some war crimes? I am Sid Warren. I'm the discount character. Hole. And then everybody died. Except for the dog, apparently. So overall, they had a bad day. Also, maybe don't stand there in the middle of everything with a sword, you know, if you don't want to get accused of being there. There's that. Yep.
3 weeks have passed since the massacre at Balmamus.
Hi, Southern Voices.
The tragedy was as flint to fire for the Wallister, bringing them together as never before and inspiring to action those Gargastani who bore no love for Barbatos.
Well dang, that's basically everyone.
Soon, the Gargastani had split into 2 camps, placing Hierophant Barbatos in a most precarious position.
Almost like he's a dick.
Barbatos essayed to silence the voices of dissent, but as cities began to fall to the Duke's resistance, he was obliged to retreat to the safety of his keep in Kuritanai. As Gargastan faltered,
Well, they got their
more
happy little
joined the
triangle up
Wallister
there.
resistance, until the rebel ranks had grown to fully 3-fold.
Friggin' indefensible
It seemed
thing up
only
there.
a matter of days before Barbatos would be brought out before his own walls to answer for what he had done. As for Pavel, through the Duke's scheming, he has been named a mastermind of the massacre, and a price
But
put on his
why?
Resistance fighters and headhunters alike.
It seems like
scour
such
the high
a
roads
such a
of
pointless thing,
while
though.
Pavel finds temporary solace in the port town of Aston.
Because they could have said, you know, he basically cowered it out and ran or whatever else. And no. They're like, no. He just did the whole thing and... Feels unnecessary because they're like, why would he go save their leader and then just turn tail for no reason? Weird that everybody believes it. Yeah, that's a really good idea. We should do that. No, dude, it's fine. Yes, also Canopus would be here. He'd be the one here with this paper. But he's dead now. Yeah, they'd be a little bit screwed in the law route, but they'll be just fine in this one. Yeah. Although, I mean, yeah, it's a reasonable plan, I guess. I don't know why they don't just kind of sit around for a while. Alright, so items seem about the same. I believe we get the next store update after this, and then it's one more battle, and then crafting gets unlocked. This is all the same. I have fine. What I do want to do, though, do I get any new stuff here? Alright. Before I forget, Warren needs his stuff. He is a little bit useless right now. Or at least, he's limited in his usefulness. Give him all the stuff. Alright, and we have all the classes in there. Alright, anyway, that'll be that for today. Go on to the Aerosol fight after this. Go, friggin' fight some Lysol or whatever. And alright, see you then.